Good evening, everybody. We're jumping out on the wrong side of the spaceship so that we can't see our little wave as we get started. We'll move around to the correct side. And now we can stand here and say, hello. We made it. We're back on planet something. I can't remember. I was collecting argon or methane wherever I am, but I forget where I am. It might be that let me just move this. I like to be able to hear my voice as well. It's such a wonderful voice, you know. Now, it might be that I did like one or two things in between the last stream and this one. I can't remember. But either way, I'm on planet Verhimna. Let's go find out what we're called. I think I'll recognize the planet once I see it. I think it's... no. I'm getting methane. So I must be on Novus. Okay, we're back on planet Novus, or Moon Novus, or whatever Novus is. And we're collecting some delicious methane. Because why not? Did this thing turn itself off? No, it didn't. It's still going. Okay. It just has no power because I don't have enough wind things to charge the battery and this thing. So it only works when the batteries are going. But we're hoping that when I go off planet, it'll fill up that. And then it'll charge up the battery. Let's just see, do I have any more batteries or any such things here? My kitty is going nuts in the background. You might hear him do a little rrrr in between. I'm going to take that battery, stick it on here because it already has power on it. And it can chug up some power. See, now this is interesting. Look how fast that battery is discharging, even though 1, 2, 3, 4 wind things are already charging. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. It's great having Kitty scrabble next to me all the time, so I sort of get to focus on what's going on in the game. In a moment I'll get to focus on the topic that we're talking about, and I get to be distracted by Kitty going nuts in the background. But oh well, we'll live. I'm thinking I'd like to actually bring... ooh, well, I've actually got a lot of these methane. Did I? Yeah, methane. A lot of these methane things ready. I'm thinking I'd like to bring some more of these wind turbines, because if I remember right, this is a wind-heavy planet. Novus, what did I say it was? I think so. Oh, high wind, high sun. Okay, so I could do either. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter which one it is. Ooh, I heard fancy noises, but I couldn't see them. Hi, Iguana. How you doing? I just missed the message that's just popped up on screen. Where did it go? It was the sound of somebody following, as far as I remember, but now I can't see it. Oh, and one kitty is bugging the other kitty, and so they're not liking each other. Ah, Touring News followed your channel. Thank you, Touring News. That's very kind of you. All right. Now I see where that's going to pop up, because I happen to have my chat in front of where the alerts show up on my streaming software. Kitties are behaving themselves, I think. One cat has been driving the other nuts lately, so just trying to keep an eye on that. Iguana, did you ever get the battery charged up? Well, if you have a look, this is the original battery I put on. It's dead. That one's dead, because I just put a new one with charge on. And at the moment my turbines aren't turning, so nothing's powering anything. So there we go, they've started moving. And once these two catch up, this will start moving. But they don't actually charge the battery. Like this thing sucks so much power out of them that the only time they'll actually charge up is once the storage thing is filled. Then the machine will stop creating methane pods. Methane, what do they call them? Just methane? They didn't even tell me what these are. I just assume they're like canisters, so they're methane canisters. Once this is filled up, then it can start charging the batteries, but as far as I can tell, the batteries don't last all that long anyway, so oh well. It was you, Touring News. I'm quite happy it was you. Thank you so much. Contribution may only be... what? Contribution may only be able to be, I suggest, Tim Ferriss with Dr. Gabor, mate. It's an excellent chat on the mind, addiction, emotion, connections. I'm just thinking, Tim Ferriss. I will admit I don't know the Dr. Gabor mate or Mate, I'm not sure, but Tim Ferriss sounds familiar. Are either of them known for something else? Anyway, it's an excellent chat on the mind, addiction, emotion, connections. Fancy video games. Business podcaster. Ah, okay, that's cool. Well, Turing, in case you don't know, I'm a psychologist myself, so once we get to actually talking about the topic and we get away from me just faffing around in my game, I'll still be faffing around in the game, but if I could move, there we go. But I do try to have some, at the least, general mental health talk most of the time. And on nights like tonight, I've got a particular topic in mind, which we may or may not end up talking about most of the time. I'm not necessarily too strict on it. I don't know. I'm not too obsessed that we must talk about the particular topic, but I always figure I try to pick a topic that can be of interest and use to people. Tonight's topic in particular about that connection between thoughts, emotions, and behavior, I think if people understand that better, it can really help them to get a handle on having better control over their own lives and having a better quality of life for themselves. But we'll get into that. I sometimes forget that there are connections between these things, which in my mind sort of says, well, duh, obviously there's a connection. But I think in part it's because of what I've studied and what I work with that the connection seems so obvious. And every now and then when I interact with people, I realize not everybody understands that connection. And so you've got to sort of take the time to go, okay, well, let's talk about this a little. I figure I've got enough methane for now. This can keep doing its thing. This was Novus. Okay, we're going to go back to Earth for the moment and see what happens from there. One guy on Amazon podcast or something. Wow, 500 million, no typos. I will admit I might have asked about the typos for 500 million. So that's impressive, geez. I'll definitely be in touch with you. It sounds exciting. I want to ask lots of questions. Turing, you're welcome to ask away with your questions. As you can tell, I'm quite good at getting distracted in between doing things. So as long as you can manage that and it doesn't frustrate you too much that I sort of talk on topic for a little while and then have a ooh shiny moment in my game, then I think we should be good. But I'm also, with this particular game, it's quite nice sometimes to just take a pause and ignore the game for a little while and talk about the topic at hand if we've got a good discussion going. So yeah. But yeah, as I was trying to say before and distracted myself. I'm a psychologist myself, and kind of part of my point with this stream is to try to educate people about things that psychologists know and use every day in practice that I think everybody can benefit from the knowledge of and apply in their own lives to have a generally better quality of life. So this concept today of that connection between thoughts and behavior and emotions, I think it's a basis to a lot of what we do as psychologists, and if people understood that, if people in general understood that as a general idea, I think that would do wonders for people's mental health. Not necessarily the only thing that would do wonders, but on its own, quite a powerful thing as well. Nice of you to say hi to him, to Iguana, to Turing, thank you. But I doubt Iguana was too offended. Okay, just making sure I'm up to speed on what's going on in chat. Let me grab these off of here. I think, yeah, I thought I was going to run out of space. Come here. No, has to be difficult. No, not that one. We're going to get there one day. I'm thinking, let's just drop some of the stuff that I've brought with me here. And I think that should be enough. 1, 2, have I got more on the other side of this? Ah, I do. Sneaky game, tried to be sneaky, but we've outsmarted it. Okay, and then I think, oh god, I'm knocking power cells flying now. You come here. And okay, we're gonna drop these off where? On this one for now? Yeah, I think on there would make sense. I need them. So this is my chemistry lab. What do they call it? Yeah, chemistry lab, where I use a lot of the gases for things. So it makes sense to have the gases nearby. I'm just going to drop them off for the moment, and then we'll get ready to head off to the next planet to collect more of some other gas. I haven't decided quite what yet. Lots and lots of methane. Hooray for global warming. All the methane. Okay, let's go see. I think I want research, because I want bigger wind power things if I've got the resources to make them. I just need to go hunt for them quickly to see. Would they be under the large structures? Extra large storage. See, here's the solar. You'd imagine there'd be like a large wind turbine or something as well, but I don't actually... No, maybe not. Okay, my mistake. Maybe I should just take like a solar array along to one of those, but let's see. Oh, hey, text appeared while I was fixated on my game. In order to find that connection for myself, I had to look back through as many years of my life and choices I could remember, as well as reach out to some others to help me access the situation I was in. So Turing, that's a pretty popular way of doing it. You know, for decades, that's what psychologists did, is that, you know, the stereotypical thing where somebody lies back on a couch and the therapist sort of probes their childhood and their past experiences. And so looking into our past is really useful for that too. It's one of the primary ways we figure out patterns. And, you know, these connections between emotions, behaviors, and thoughts are all about patterns. You know, we're looking for patterns of saying, hey, every time I'll take today's examples. Every time I eat chocolate, because I ate a lot of that today, happy Easter, by the way, I have a brief period of time where I feel good. And I can also say, now that I'm reaching an age where my metabolism doesn't work as well as it used to, that's accompanied later on by, for now, slight feelings of guilt that sort of go, oh, maybe I shouldn't have eaten so much chocolate because I'm going to gain weight if I'm not careful about this. So there's an emotional connection between that behavior, or there's a connection between that emotion, those emotions and those behaviors. And understanding that is really useful for me. It's not necessarily to say, now that I know that, I must change it, or I must adapt it, or I must keep it. Or it's more just to say, great, I know that there are potentially, quite often, two things that come out of eating chocolate. One is that I feel good for a little while. I feel happy, I feel enjoyment, I feel pleasure, I feel a bunch of positive feelings. And one is that there's a brief period of guilt from time to time. Not as consistently, but nonetheless there's a pattern to it. And I can use that for myself. You know, if I ever reach a point in my life where I say, God, there's too much guilt in my life, I don't want another ounce of it, I might avoid chocolate for a little while I sort that out. Iguana, not at all. I appreciate the response. Cool. Then when seeing what I chose for myself, what external factors mattered here and there, how parents and schooling influence, I tried to catch up to my current age. And again, you know, that's perhaps the therapeutic approaches most commonly associated with that, we think about psychoanalysis and psychodynamic therapy and kind of the therapies that came from Freud and his, I was going to say predecessors, successors, or the people that sort of followed in his footsteps to a greater or lesser degree. They really looked at that past tense sort of stuff, and it is valid stuff to do, absolutely. Now I feel that I've got an understanding of why I am who I am, and the strengths and what my strengths and weaknesses are. And now it's time to choose for myself all the time and work on the bad spots that have remained. The work is going well, never been happier. I am really happy to hear that you've never been happier. That's awesome. It's time to choose for myself all the time. I really like 90% of that sentiment that says, I have a lot of choice in my own behaviors and a good chunk of choice in my own thoughts, and not direct choice over my emotions, but connected choice. You know, I can choose behaviors and thought processes that lead to good emotions. And that's maybe just the 10% that I just want to be careful with, to say we're not necessarily going to reach a point where we completely control our emotions, but we can definitely have a lot more control over them than what we're maybe used to. Short-term benefit versus long-term consequence. You're hitting a fun concept there. So there's in one bunch of theory, we'll call it, they talk about long and short-term hedonism, which is basically exactly what you said, short-term benefit or short-term pleasure versus long-term gain. And so kind of, it's the idea around eating junk food versus taking the effort to cook healthy food. And junk food feels great in the short term. We save time in the short term. It makes us feel good in the short term. There's all sorts of short-term things that are nice about it. And eating healthy, in the short term, maybe a few of us might sort of go, all this effort to cook this food, it's a bit time-consuming and effortful and tiring, and doesn't always feel like something I really want to do. Sorry, I'm picking a hair off my keyboard while I talk. But in the long term, maybe the long-term health benefits unlock the potential for even more pleasure over time. Hello, Harry. My cat is meowing at us. Long-term hedonism can unlock the long-term possibility for even more pleasure than just those short-term things. But it's maybe important to say we're not trying to say long-term hedonism is better than short-term hedonism, rather that most people would want a mix between the two. There's few people that at their core want only one or only the other, or other. Goodness, I don't know what happened to my language there. But yeah, so it's that's something to be mindful of, to say what's happening in the long term, what's happening in the short term, and use that to influence our decisions, I guess. Turing, I'm glad I'm speaking your language. I'm curious, by the way, Turing, what led to your, if I may ask, maybe just keep in mind as well, you never have to answer anything here. If you don't want to answer, that's also quite fine. But I'm curious, what led to that process where you spent so much time looking at your past and trying to unravel stuff that way? And what was that, a therapy process, or was it your own self-discovery, or was it like self-help books, or yeah, that's see, that sounds just like a psychologist to start with, and then followed by the psychologist would then say, it depends, and that would proceed the answer from there. Give me a sec, I'm going to drink some Dr. Pepper. But unlike a few of my other favorite streamers, there's no not clicky sound. What would you call, Iguana, what would you call that sound that Dr. Mick makes with the can? I don't know, can opening sound, but I'm trying to decide. But anyway, there's no sound like that because it's all in the glass already, so cheers. And I'm going to pause my monologue while I look around here to see if there is such a thing as a large wind turbine or something of that sort. I'm not seeing anything. Let's go back here and see. Medium solar. Oh, do I not have research? Oh my god, I don't have research for medium solar. Wow. And medium generators. Jeez. Okay. I probably want this, actually. Because if I remember... it costs 10,000 bytes there, and I do not have anything here that gives me 10,000 bytes. I might actually need to go off-world just to collect some research stuff. Do they tell me in these... I'm curious, do the descriptions tell me what my chances are of finding research? Unusual landscape, huh? See, that makes me wonder. I need to think to type this. Fair enough. I think I thought it was the best way to continue my maturation and development process. I'm lucky to be moderately intelligent and just went down that journey because I wanted to get as close to free will and free choice as possible. Turing, you are smacking onto some gloriously fun psychological concepts there. So the whole free will and free choice thing. I was talking about therapists that look into people's past before, and coming from a school of thought called psychodynamic therapy or psychoanalytic therapy. And what's always been interesting to me is a lot of theorists in the psychology field talk about how psychodynamic therapy in their minds is incompatible with some of the more modern therapeutic approaches like cognitive behavioral therapy or CBT, because very close, I'm 32, so not too far off. In psychodynamic therapy, there's a strong tendency towards, I think the concept is called determinism, where they basically say a lot of what happened in your background and what people have done to you and the environment you're stuck in kind of forces your life to be a certain way, and they're not saying that you have no control, but they're saying you have a lot less control than what you might imagine. Whereas a lot of the more modern CBT approaches like to push the whole sort of, you have free choice and free will and free power, and you get to make the decisions, and everything about your experiences is determined by you. Excuse me. And personally, I marry a lot of my theories together in my work, and so I guess it's almost by default. I also kind of combine those two, that there's a bit of a combination between, there's a certain level of determinism that maybe says, the experiences you had as a child, for example, and we often see your experiences growing up as a child can be hugely influential. And I'd say they probably, in my mind, they set a framework that they say, look, the likelihood is that based on a certain type of childhood, you're going to have experiences within a certain range. Now, it's a broad range for sure, but for example, there might be, and I'm hesitant to make definite examples because they could be wrong, but to take an idea, a hypothetical, there might be some people who have had such a messed up childhood that they will never attain the heights of Elon Musk or Bill Gates, or, okay, well, that's wealth-wise, or I don't know, or Gandhi, or there's all sorts of questionable examples here. And not to say that example is definite, but just that kind of idea to say some people have had backgrounds that might limit them compared to other people who may be less limited in their options, not what they will achieve, just in what the options available to them are. Absolutely, it's too difficult to cover it in one brush stroke. It's this way, that way, and it's part of what I love about it, honestly. Like, I love that there's all these theories that apparently, supposedly, contradict each other. But anyway, I feel like I'm. I shouldn't say that, not qualified to. Turing, I'd be careful about just throwing in "I'm not qualified to." Like, you don't have to. You don't have to have studied at a university necessarily to know something about psychology. So, and I think what you said is very fair, to say psychology doesn't have one broad brushstroke of it's this way or it's that way, as much as proponents of certain theories might like to try and make you think otherwise. Okay, I want research for my RTG, whatever that is. I don't even actually know what this is. Let's go first see if I can make, or what gases I'm missing. Then I want to see if there are other gases that I still need to get. See, I need helium. I've got argon. Haven't got sulfur, but I think that was available on the last planet, and I hear my kitties going at each other. No, just a small spat. Okay. I kind of want to make diamond just to see what it looks like, but anyway. The cats come running to me and then split up the moment I look at them. So, good job, kitties. Now just stop fighting. Trying to be a journalist reporter should be cautious. Well, fair enough. Maybe just careful not to be overly cautious. You're allowed to talk about the things you've learnt about psychology, but maybe even like any professional should be able to say, look, this is what I've learnt about cats. I might go spray a water bottle at them. Just give me 1 second. Hey, what are you doing? Kitties love each other. Just shook the water bottle at them instead. Next time I'll spray them. Well, sadly, they're not. One of them is a kitten, but that's not the one you hear. The one you hear is a 4 going on 5-year-old cat. I think he's almost 5. But yeah, basically, the younger cat terrorizes him, and he doesn't fight back. He runs away, and he growls and hisses and makes noises at him, and then runs away again. So, yeah, it'd be nice if he'd actually just turn around one day and swat him, and maybe the kitten would learn, okay, listen, you should back off a little bit sometimes. But we'll see if... Well, not that I really want them to beat each other up either, but oh well. Okay, I think I need sulfur, and I need helium. Let's go find out where we get those. Sulfur and helium. Sulfur. Sulfur I can get on Calidor. Cool. Helium. It's probably on only like the hard planets, no doubt. Yeah, very hard. Great. Okay. I'm gonna have to make a visit to this nasty planet at some point, it seems. What do I need helium for? What do I bet you I need helium for that thing I'm looking at making? Nanocarbon alloy. Let's go see. Helium nanocarbon alloy. So I can't make the endless power source until I visit the super planet. Okay. So we're gonna go get sulfur in the meantime. Hello, Drop Bear Antics. That's an interesting accent. It is South African. Well done. I think technically you've got an unfair advantage because I think my bio says I'm South African as well. But yes, I'm South African. Well done. Are you South African or do you just recognize the accent? But that said, I get told plenty that my South African accent is not very typically South African. That there's a lot of similarities with British accents, but then there's also a fair amount of other stuff in there too. Ceramic and glass. Do I have any more glass? I think I used up all the quartz I had. I think I should go dig some more quartz. Yeah, let's go grab a canister. I think I left that by the ship. I'm going to grab a canister, get some quartz, make some more wind turbines, go collect some sulfur, and then we'll figure it out from there. Did I just throw them down? I just threw them down. Okay. That one. Yeah, okay. And I turned down the bitrate of the stream, and I also turned down the in-game graphics quality, all in the hope that both my PC will run the game a little more smoothly, because it wasn't always the smoothest, but also I had a couple people mention to me that there go my cats again. The bitrate was a bit too high for them to always tune in, so let's not kill ourselves in the process. And here we go again. Give me a second. Hey, you want your water spray? Here you go. And you leave each other alone. Okay. I think I'm just going to keep the water spray here with me, and then ideally I can just turn around and spritz them and they stop fighting with each other. You're Australia. Hey, Southern. Well, Drop Bear, see, the problem with that is, yeah, Southern Hemisphere is great, but I live in Canada now, so, yeah, should have guessed from Drop Bear, yeah. I do love the whole Drop Bear concept. Like, it's the same as you get quite a fair number of American tourists in South Africa, which kind of, obviously not all Americans are like that, but of all the tourists, Americans are the ones that kind of have the worst reputation for being completely clueless. And so they're the ones that'll ask on like forums and things to say, you know, like, are there elephants in the streets? And, you know, I'm going to be visiting Johannesburg. Where can you give me directions to the ATMs? And you sort of sit there going, oh God, what do these people think of my country? But so yeah, I think that the Drop Bear thing fits in nicely with that as well, that a lot of people that don't know much about Australia, it's fun to give them the drop. Or maybe I should let you tell everybody else here about Australian drop bears, and they can decide for themselves. Is that quartz? I do actually need more of this, so let's. This was not the mission I came here for. This is not the hero we need, but the hero we deserve. I don't know, something like that. It's not the mission we need, but the mission we deserve. No, that's not working, but oh well. Drop another tether and dig up some of this lovely stuff, please. Oh no, I don't want compound. I know my base is running out of zinc, so it's probably a good thing that I'm doing this while I'm here. Okay, so we'll spend some time on this stream just collecting resources that the base needs before we'll see if we get tonight to any of the harder planets, but at the least we'll just be setting up for future stuff. Oh, I didn't bring my work lights with me. That's why everything is so dark down here. What a fail. Okay. I need to remember that the next time I'm up on planet side. You notice Coda? Coda Iguana. That you notice I've stopped calling it upstairs. Finally, yeah, dropped by quite a jump in distance. I'm almost on the opposite side of the world to where I was. I actually looked it up, and it's just sort of slightly southeast of Madagascar is the opposite side of the world to Calgary, where I am in Canada. So yeah, really far away there. We took the shortest travel route that we could to Calgary, and that was a 22-hour trip. So I'm not really looking forward to repeating that trip, but obviously we'll be visiting previous home at some point to visit family and friends there, so I can look forward to that trip in my future again. Yes, we all ride roos to school and work. We smear Vegemite behind our ears to keep the drop bears at bay, and of course all the rest of the wildlife is deadly. And hey, to be fair, the wildlife is deadly and out to kill you. I'm not lying. I'm not disagreeing with that. Uncle Bull, doing delicate system work, and I have to boot into dreaded Windows to run chest disk. Hi, Uncle Bull. I'm so glad you're proud of me. We'll keep that to ourselves as to why. And thank you for coming in. I hope your check disk works out, that your disk is all okay. Hopefully it's not too old a disk and everything can go all. Although, shouldn't you be able to do that with F disk? Yes, Iguana. I've been to Banff just recently, about 3 or 4 weeks ago for the first time. Jasper, I think, is a little bit further, but well within striking distance, and I'll definitely be there at some point. If I remember right, I think I haven't been there yet, but to drive to Vancouver, which is where I haven't been to, I think you drive through Banff and Jasper, but I haven't done Jasper yet. I've only done Banff. But it was beautiful. Banff was, and not that I even saw a large chunk of it. We spent probably 4 hours there. It was just sort of most of an afternoon, but it's absolutely gorgeous. I think Banff is about an hour and a half from me, if I remember right. Okay, so we got this now. Oh, there's more. But wait, there's more, is the kind of informal motto of this game, I think. I don't want compound. Give me... Oh, apparently I ran out of space in my bag as well. But I want this stuff. I got the stuff. Do I have any compounds on here that I don't want? I forgot a methane. Okay, let's grab that one. And then we'll run up to base. Did we come from the left or right here? Does anybody remember? You know, the number of times I've done that in stream to say, where should I go, left or right? And I never actually wait for an answer. So apparently it's a rhetorical question. Maybe I'll make some emojis for people one day that could just tell me left or right. Once we achieve the all glorious and wonderful, affiliate status, I think it's what I'm supposed to be aiming for at the moment. Ooh, goodness, come up here. This staircase is really like such a shoddy piece of engineering. I was about to say one day I'm going to see my ass. I've already seen my ass on this a few times, but oh well. Did I really go this far down? God, I thought no. I thought I was closer to the surface. The surface, see, not upstairs. The surface. Listen to me. I speak English very good. Come here. One day we'll even be there. Okay. We made it, and he falls in a hole somewhere. But we made it. We're gonna go drop this in the smelter, and then we're gonna go back and find quartz, and then I'm not sure yet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Count with me, everybody. 5. God. 6. No space for these. And then that one and that one. I think we need to drop these off. I've got aluminium. Actually, I should pick up more aluminium. I wasn't looking. Left to right, it all looks... That's the problem. It all looks the same to me. But then it's in part... Oh, wait, do I want zinc now? Yeah, let's actually... So I just drop them into the spot where we can't actually... Oh, hello. See where they are. Up one, please. Come on here. This one, go on there. And we go to back here. Here's where I store this stuff, I think. Okay. Zinc, please. You're not zinc, you're aluminum. Listen to me, though. I'm calling it aluminum. Damn Americans. I'm sorry, Drop Bear. I'm sorry, I really shouldn't have betrayed us like that, but the game calls it aluminum, and I'm in a North American country where I think they also call it aluminum, so I've sold my soul. That's the long and short of it. Well, this is irritating. How many blocks have I got? Okay, I've just got 2 left, so let's just put them on there. We'll be disorganized for just a moment, and then we'll go drop off our soil. Actually, we can drop off the soil and make quartz, although I don't think I get a lot of quartz for it. Let's go see. One. Aren't you guys so happy that I'm here to count for you? I mean, it's not like you came here for mental health topics. You came here for me to help you count. 1, 2. There we go. We did it. 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yay! And we want more ceramic to make space for the quartz that's going to come on here. One step at a time. Let's see. Let's take you over there. What are you, actually? You don't belong on here. We're going to run off with this tray. Go put it on the other side. So one day, I'm going to get back to chat and mental health topics. I promise. One day. Uncle Bill's been resizing the partitions with G-parted. One is an old, they keep for boot reasons, works great, but there are artifacts that only a boot time check disk can be trusted with. I suppose. It's Microsoft tool for Microsoft product, I guess. The video started dropping. Oh dear. Hello, Super Uber Cooper. Have you been? I finally got. Oh, cool. Okay. First things first. Let's see if something's downloading. I don't think there should be anything downloading, but let me just double check. I closed. No, I closed everything that should be downloading. Let me just check my task manager and see what it says about my network processes. Super Uber Cooper, I'm so glad you got into Astroneer. How are you finding it? Are you loving it as much as I do? No, my network is all going to OBS, so I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe it's my other half in his office busy doing downloading or something, and then I can give him a hard time for it later. UK quantum physicist the Midnicorn tells me aluminum is correct. Unfortunately, aluminum is one of those few ones that I actually have to concede because it was discovered, or the guy who discovered aluminum named it aluminum, and then for some reason, somewhere along the line, the British decided it was aluminium. And as much as I want it to be aluminium, it's one of the few ones that I feel like I need to concede and say, actually, it kind of is aluminum. But it's a great example of where I'll say, we can call it both and just understand both of them. Now, of course, if I were right, then I'd be like, no, you can't call it that other thing. It's only this one. But because the original one that I knew was wrong, let's all get along and use both names for them. That's just Midna's opinion. I'm glad you like the longs, Cooper. I remember the last time I was still trying to decide if I was calling you Super Uber Cooper the whole time. I think I settled on Cooper in the end. I think that was my magnanimous decision. Okay, we've got quartz here, which we need for glass. So let's make that quickly. And then we should probably go pick up some medium storage things. Like this one. Because this is filling up. Nope. That was beautiful. Thank you, Astron. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to do. There we go. Okay, I can do its thing. And then we'll have the ceramic and grass for ceramic and grass. We're making wind turbines out of ceramic and grass. Ceramic and glass. Let's see. Are you a ceramic? Yes, you are. And I had a glass here. Pick up that one. And that one, and that one. And I should be able to make 2 of these now. See, I'm still counting for you guys. How many? 2 of them. Okay, that'll do its thing. Is it math or maths? See, hey Nero, how you doing? Drop bear. I use both, honestly. Like, I can't say it's one or the other because I've totally used both of those at various times. I probably alternate all the time, so I can't say which one it is with absolute certainty. Cheers, Uncle Ball. Thanks for coming around. Although, pro tip in future, which I usually do, well, I usually do it if I need to go to the bathroom, but sure, for check disc as well, you just put Twitch on your phone and then you can take it with you wherever. It's harder to chat. It does make that part a pain in the neck, but at least then, even if you restart your computer, which I've done that version of a couple times as well, so it's not always TMI. But yeah, then at least you can still have your Twitch running and listen to wonderful streamers like me mumbling things in the background. I wanted more ceramic, didn't I? Let's actually just use all of them. And that one. Okay. And as soon as that ceramic's done, we'll grab it and start the machine there. Okay, and then what was I doing? I was making wind turbines to go off planet. Brought some zinc. Yeah, this is now a tray of zinc. Okay, that's cool. Medium wind turbine, let's go. And we'll wait for these 2. And I can talk to you guys again. Cool. Okay, so to rewind a little bit after we got confused with math and maths and soccer and football and aluminum and aluminium and so on and so on. I know not all of those came up, but they always do come up invariably. Meow. Harry is here. Harry is the cat that was making noise earlier that you got to hear. Now he's very innocently sitting behind me saying meow, as if he's the most innocent boy in all the world. I hope you can hear me when I'm turning my head. Hello, my boy. I suspect he wants food, but he's not getting food for a while. Ceramic. That one. Make another wind turbine. Oh, no. Oh god, I thought I cancelled it there. I've never actually tested what happens if you cancel it. I should try that with like a cheaper resource, not this resource. Okay, I was totally about to switch back to... Okay, I might be rewinding to the wrong part of conversation because I can't remember exactly all the hoops we've jumped through in this conversation. But you know what, I'm just going to push it back to the original, or the topic that the stream was meant to be, and I'm going to drop this off here because I don't need to take methane off planet with me. Can we just leave it here? All those in favor of me just leaving it here say aye. Oh great, we've decided, okay. There we go. Now I'm going to get sulfur. Is it sulfur? I think, let me just check. I think that Novus is what I was just on, wasn't it? And I think they have... No, they don't. Oh, it's a pity because I feel like I've got the nicest setup there. For sulfur, we can go to Calidor. I can't, we need to go look and see if we've set up a little mini base on Calidor. So let's go find that out. If I haven't, I'll be coming all the way back here just to collect stuff to build a base to go back to Calidor. But oh well, one step at a time. So, the topic for tonight, which I was wanting to get to, Calidor. I'm also wanting to get to Calidor, so let's go find them. What are you? You're not Calidor. You're also not Calidor. You are Calidor. Let's go check you out. I think I know I've been there, but whether I've set up a beacon and a base, I'm not sure. So let's go have a look, shall we? I'm not seeing a beacon as yet. I swear there was one of these planets that I landed next to one of these thingies just because it looks kind of like a beacon. But we'll do a rotation of the planet and see what happens. Okay, so topic we're talking about. Connection between emotions, thoughts, and behavior. So a lot of work we do in therapy processes, we often spend a lot of time with people working. So generally, people come in to see a therapist oftentimes because of emotional stuff. And honestly, even when they come for, like, say, some people come for behavioral issues, like substance abuse, for example, even then, there's typically something connected to that, which is some sort of underlying emotional thing. Excuse me. And one of the important concepts we try to help clients to understand is that there's a connection between the three of those, that your emotions affect the way you think and the way you behave, the types of thoughts you have affect the way you behave and how you feel, and the types of behaviors you engage in affect the sorts of thoughts you're likely to have and the way you're likely to feel. You'll see I'll sometimes switch between words, like with emotions, I'll talk about emotions or feelings. Thoughts will sometimes be cognitions or thoughts, or often we'll talk about mental stuff as well. And then behavior and actions, I guess, are probably the words that I might every now and then sort of accidentally mix up. Okay, I need to go back to Earth because I don't have a beacon anyway here. So let's actually just launch, go back to Earth, get the stuff we need to do this properly, and then we'll come back. Silver, please. I think, although I'm running out of fuel, so I need to get more fuel sometime. Oh, I just shot through the planet. That is how powerful a rocket I have. I punched a hole in that planet. Is this me over here? Yes, this is me over here. Oh, well done. Clever spaceship. But so once we understand that there's this connection between emotions, thoughts, and behavior, then it starts to make sense that as a way to deal with our broad mental health, we want to start being more aware of all three of those things. And this is where a lot of people are sort of caught by surprise, that some people will try to focus on purely behaviors or purely thoughts or only emotions, and really, we want to start with an awareness of all three of those things, because before we can really make, well, we can make changes to the system, but before we can make well thought out changes that are likely to result in growth and permanent change and the types of effects that we want, we need to understand as much as we can of the system. And okay, let's put this over here. And we can go load that on our organized bit down here once we reorganize it. Yeah, so in that sense, I'm going to speak 2 words and then focus on my game, and then speak 2 words and then focus on my game ad infinitum. You are aluminium, so I can... see, I said aluminium. That was for you, Drop Bear. Zinc, we'll put you there for now, and we'll never find you again, but that's okay. I want ammonium right now, but I don't have soil, so let's go dig up some soil. Okay, so to give some examples of this, so I want to try and give an example of each of them if I can. Let's take example number 1, people with depression. We would typically look at depression in many of the cases that it presents at, but definitely not all of them. We would understand it as an emotional presentation. People are feeling depressed. They're feeling low. And the word feeling is a tricky one because people use the word feeling in contexts where what they often mean is understand or... give me power. So, for example, people will say, I feel like you shouldn't do that. Whereas really that's a judgment more than it is an emotion or a feeling. But that said, something like depression, a lot of people will experience the depressed mood. There's an emotional component there. And what will often then, when the person is well aware of that component of it, will want to say, great, okay, what are the thoughts and behaviors that link up with that as well? Because it's not just a lone sort of isolated emotional thing. There are thoughts that connect to that. There are behaviors that connect to that. And if we can understand those better, we can start to make positive changes in that person's life and in their system. I want ammonium. I only get 1 for 8 parts of soil, but okay. And then when we make hydrazine, what do we need out of this machine? So I'm just refueling my spaceship now. Let's go see what we need here. Hydrazine, ammonium, and hydrogen. Okay, we've got the hydrogen, so we just need lots of ammonium. Okay, I have filled this up. Let's go dig up some more soil. My lovely kitties are at it again. I swear they pick the times when I don't want to be dealing with them. Kitties? Yes, you. Hello, innocent face. Come here. Come here. I just sprayed water at them and now I'm telling them to come here. Of course, this is logical. Clearly the mark of a psychologist who understands behavior. Come, kitty. Nope, he's now sitting on the couch looking at me as if to say, why the hell would I go near you? Oh, Dropper, you have to take off. Sorry about that. Take it easy. Have a good day, I guess, in Australia. You must be on morning, I'm guessing. But yeah, have a good day, Drop Bear. Thank you for dropping in. Sorry I didn't get to topic a little earlier in the process. Okay, we're back to digging up holes here. So there's example number 1. Someone with depression, we want to start making them a lot more aware of their behaviors and their thoughts, which are likely linking in with the depression. And I'm not trying to sell it as, immediately once you're aware of those things, it's problem solved. It's not necessarily as straightforward as that, but it does make a world of difference if the person's able to say, well, I understand which thoughts and which behaviors are helping and hindering my depression. So, for example, people who are depressed have a tendency to socially isolate themselves. And as much as that matches with their emotional state, that they sort of go, I don't have the desire to interact with people socially. At the same time, we also understand that social isolation increases people's feelings of depression. And so as a generic thing, we want to encourage people who are depressed to interact socially more. Okay, let's put this machine on again, make some more ammonium. Roll my eyes at my kitties who are hissing at each other. Well, one is hissing at the other is terrorizing the former. And we're going to dig up the mountain again. I'm actually going to have no mountain left here by the time I'm done with this base. This used to be a lovely big mountain, and now these environmental bastards have come and dug it all up, and by that I mean me. I'm going to be chopping... Oh, I didn't want organic, but okay. I suppose I can just dig down here as well, because I'm not actually looking for anything else around here. It's just soil. So that's one example where somebody comes in and says, hey, listen, this emotional thing is a really big issue to me. How do we sort this out? And so we're often going to spend a lot of time trying to determine how aware the person is of the non-emotional components of that. So then problem number 2, another person comes in and says something to the effect of, I have OCD. I have obsessive thoughts about cleanliness. Typical example, yes, Louis, make funny noises at me. That's wonderful. He's sitting at the side here going, I'm apparently supposed to do something, but I'm not entirely sure what. And now he's disappeared. But so for somebody with OCD, they have trouble with their thoughts, and they'll often sort of tell you about the fact that they can't control the thoughts, and the thoughts seem to just kind of run away from them, and they find themselves just endlessly thinking about whether they locked the door, or how clean something is, or the fact that there's germs on their hands, or these are very stereotypical examples I'm picking. There's a lot more to OCD, or there are a lot more types of OCD than just those, but they're kind of run-of-the-mill examples. And so for that sort of person, we'd want to say, okay, number 1, behavior is an easy one to figure out. If you've got somebody who is thinking about cleanliness all the time, there's a likelihood that they're engaging in behaviors related to cleaning, for example, all the time. one of the tricky parts about that is the more you're engaging in that type of behavior, the more it's going to prompt you to think about that topic, because your brain goes, right, well, I'm doing this thing, it must be important. Let me think about what I'm doing. And again, I'm oversimplifying here, but there's a very natural connection there that the more people are acting in certain ways around that topic, the more likely they are to think about it. And so part of the process we may use in some examples for somebody with OCD is to try to distract themselves with other behaviors. So at a time, now importantly, we wouldn't say don't do that thing, because then they're focusing on the concept of not doing it, and so they've still got that at the front of their brains. Is that my ammonium? Yes, it is. Next one, please. Great. There should be enough fuel for a while. Now I need to do an air condenser and batteries and... Oh my goodness, my kitties are loving each other. Oh, give me a sec. I'll be back again. Oh God. You're going to separate them. You want the water spray? Okay, thanks. Oh, kitties and streaming. Clearly they go together very well. Sorry about that. The cats have been separated into different rooms now, so at least they won't be fighting each other for a bit. Why is there... Did I make too many ammonium thingies? Oh well. Clearly one cat is still out here because he's still going berserk in front of me. But the other cat is locked away for now. We'll hear him meowing in the not too distant future, I imagine. Hello, Louis. Are you here to talk on stream too? Okay, and so on the one side, in something like OCD, people are generally pretty well aware of the behavioral component that, that they tend to link, and a lot of people will link thoughts and behavior pretty well. But so then in an OCD person, what we'd often want to link that to is the emotional component, because typically OCD is typically related to anxiety. And what we see in OCD is that the thinking process and the behaviors on the one side are short-term, and kind of links to the whole short-term hedonism from before, but they're short-term coping mechanisms for dealing with anxiety. The problem is in the long term, they don't actually deal with the anxiety, they just distract the person from the anxiety, or they help them to avoid dealing with the anxiety, but it invariably comes back to bite them in the backside later on, and so a cycle continues, that there's anxiety, they engage in those behaviors, they have those thoughts, they're okay for a while, like they don't experience the anxiety during that time, and then later on the anxiety reappears again because it hasn't actually gone anywhere, and the process repeats itself. Iron, glass, and plastic. Do I have any iron left? I have a funny feeling I used the last of my iron. I did, which means I need to go to an iron planet. So I maybe need to interrupt all of my careful planning here to go to an iron planet. Let's go figure that out. No. Yes, Novus. Okay, we want to go to Novus. Let's go do that. Did I leave any quartz behind? I did not. I think there's a beacon on that planet already. Okay, let's go grab a whole bunch of iron, and we'll figure it out from there again. Well, a whole bunch. Hopefully. Load these up. Do I have another slot there? What are you? Oh, I have an atmospheric condenser already. Huh, okay, I don't need to go get the iron just yet. That's handy. So then I need... I will need to get iron soon, but I don't need to go get it right away. Okay, I've got 4 wind thingies, 2 batteries. I'm going to need 2 storage. Is it storage? Is that what they're called? I'll notice as soon as I say platforms. There we go. I'm going to need 2 platforms, so we're going to grab resin to make that. And then we're going to grab more resin. I see you over there, resin. Trying to hide from me. And we'll make another one once this one's done. So in the person struggling with OCD, we'd want to start making them much more aware of their anxiety processes, because once they make the connection between, okay, what's going on with the anxiety in my life, and once we start implementing strategies to deal with the anxiety more effectively, then they start to find that they don't actually need the OCD behaviors to help them avoid the anxiety when they're able to deal with it better. Again, incredibly oversimplified there, but the connection between emotions, thoughts, and behavior. So then we've done what we did, the OCD. What was my first example? God, my head's gone blank. Depression. So then maybe the third example. So OCD is kind of often an example. Well, there's thoughts and behavior, but a lot of people really experience the thought component of it as particularly distressing. Depression, again, there are often behavioral components as well, and potentially thought components too, but a lot of people experience the emotional part of it as particularly strong or overwhelming. And so then to take a third example, we'd look at something like substance abuse, where the common conception of that is it's a behavioral issue. And that, oh, God, I didn't mean to pick up the whole ship. No, I did not mean to pick up the whole ship. There. There we go. Okay, no, and pick it up. God, I'm not doing this very well, am I? You can go there. And you can go there. Okay, so now we've got our atmospheric condenser. We want this for sulfur. Can't remember where the sulfur was supposed to be. Let's go check where that was. That was on that first planet that we saw, Calidor. Yes. Okay, so we're taking this to Calidor. Launch again, please. Launch. And let's go see. There we go, Calidor. Very handy. So then, to take a third example of substance abuse, people will often see substance abuse as a behavioral disorder, where they say, these people are engaging in behaviors which are destructive or damaging or bad for them or whatever it is. Again, I'm looking for a beacon if I have dropped one here before. Pretty sure there's oh, no, I didn't. I've got a beacon, actually. I do have a beacon this time. Okay, let's go find, is there a bubble over here somewhere? Just because I wouldn't mind ending up near this thing anyways. But if there isn't, that's okay. Or maybe there's one on the opposite side of the planet. I wouldn't mind being near one of these structures, but we'll have a look around and see. So then, in substance abuse, behavioral issue. At the same time, we'll want to make the person aware of, okay, when you use substances, are there emotional effects? Are you feeling a particular way before you use the substance or after you use the substance? Are there thought things connected? Are you thinking about, are you engaging in certain thought patterns before or after the substance use? And starting to make connections there, because what we often find, again, like a lot of psychological things, there's an emotional component to it, that oftentimes substance abuse is there as a form of a coping mechanism for emotional issues. Geez, there's like... Ooh. That is a large looking... If that thing can give me power, I will be so delighted. I might actually go find that out. Let's do that first. And if we can get those people to understand the emotional component of that to say, there's probably something that's distressing you on an emotional side of things. And if we can learn to deal with that better, then potentially the need for the substance goes away, because then I no longer need the substance to... And you'll see a similar pattern to like the OCD thing, that there's this... I'm just throwing things down on the ground here. We'll just do that. And they'll just go rolling down the hill and hopefully stop before they run away. Yep, and we'll take this one. Okay, great. If they can understand the emotional thing and they can learn coping mechanisms for dealing with those emotions in more healthy, functional ways, it goes a long way towards managing the substance abuse, because then they don't need the substance abuse necessarily. I mean, there's still other factors in it. Oh, I need to put that closer, don't I? Let's put you there and plug you in here. Now I want to actually see if I just stick a battery on there, medium battery, will it charge from this panel? Let's just double check this planet. I'm sure this planet must be a sunny one, but let's double check. Medium sun, no, wrong planet. Very sunny, low wind, and I brought a bunch of wind turbines. That's very useful. See now, that's not actually charging anything. I was really hopeful that if I plugged that in, it would just miraculously provide me with power. Careful, I don't want to dig out too much because it's going to start falling if I go too crazy on this. Let's just go see, is it stuck somewhere else? Yeah, because this is very definitely not charging anything at the moment. Dear solar panel, please just work very magically. And you know what, I wonder if I just dig away a bit of this mountain. I wonder if that would make a difference. Come here. We'll try that as a desperate times, desperate measures. Not really, but something along those lines. Ooh, check the reflection there. Of course, digging up mountain is so slow. But yeah, so then with somebody with a substance abuse problem, we would want to, on the one side, make them aware of what are their potential emotional connections. Where are these two here? I'm going to put this one over here and unpack it and plug it in and stick the condenser on it. I might have to come back with solar panels, but that's okay. I feel like there's not much point actually in wasting the wind turbines here. Oh, but I think there's some research objects down there that I might go collect. Okay, let's see. Let's put that back in there. I suppose those aren't all research objects. Ammonium would be nice though, then I don't have to dig so much of it out. There will be good things from this planet one way or another. Come here. No, I don't want resin. I wanted ammonium. I saw ammonium here. Was there just one little... Oh, no, there we go. I was going to say, if there's just one dollop of ammonia, that's not very nice of them. Oh, I'm hearing good sounds, but I have no power. Do I unpack a wind power just to see if it does something? Oh, no power, no power. This is going to take a while, isn't it? I need to complete the solar power first. Copper and glass, I think I have that on the home planet. So we'll do that. Did I get an and I didn't even pick up one ammonium thing from all that digging. That's resin over there. Okay, let's just wander off a little bit and see what we find. Maybe we find some good stuff to take back with us. I'm going to get back to what I was talking about in a moment, I promise. Ooh, hello. Well now. There we go. I will happily take one of those. Let's just not suffocate in the process. Oxygen is good. Wow, I'm really good at taking prolonged periods of just getting distracted and not really continuing the topic of discussion. Sorry about that. I think it'll get better over time, but oh well. Okay, so yeah, so in the example of substance abuse, there's quite often that element there to say there's a very definite behavioral thing that's obvious, but if we can uncover the emotional part and then the thought process, there always is a behavioral, an emotional, and a thought process in all of these things. It's never just only behavior or, oh, what are you? Oh, interesting. It's never just an emotional thing or just a behavioral thing, or they're so strongly connected to each other that we take it as a given that they'll all be there, and it's just a matter then of uncovering which pieces are most problematic at the time and which are most amenable to change and which people are most aware of. And no, I wouldn't mind finding some more research objects out here. If we just keep digging these things up, do you think we'll find them? There. Ah. Honestly, that's a decent haul. Even if I only go back with these, that's 3 research items. Should get me some nice research. Then I should have a beacon up here as well, I think. Right at the top there. And we're going to stick it over here. It should be pretty visible, I'd imagine. What color do we want it? Green? We like green. Okay, we'll go with green. And so in all 3 of those, they're disorders that are typically characterized by one of those 3 elements of thoughts, emotions, or behaviors, but they're kind of obvious examples of how the 3 of them connect with each other. And so our first step in a lot of mental health processes is to say, what are the missing connections that this person is not aware of just yet? And can we help them to become more aware, not only to become more aware of them, but also to practice being more aware of them and to consistently be more aware of them. It's great if in a therapy session I can sit with somebody and make them aware of those things, but it's so much better if I can teach that person. It's the whole give a fish thing, but it's so much better if I can teach that person how to, I nearly got out of the spaceship there, that would have been great, how to practice being aware of their own thoughts, their own emotions, their own behaviors, and making those connections themselves. Because a lot of the power in changing these things comes from an awareness of them. And obviously a lot of psychologists have learned a lot about mindfulness and being aware of these things. And they understand that those are things that we need to be aware of. But if we could put out a PSA to everybody to say, hey, everybody, it's really useful, and assume they all just believe us on what we're saying, but it's really useful to be aware of these 3 things. I think we'd make phenomenal progress in mental health just with those. Okay, I came back for solar panels, and I'm going to drop off these for research. That one, and that one. I'm hoping, because I don't think I've brought research items from that planet before, I'm hoping they're going to be incredibly valuable and give me lots and lots of glorious, wonderful research. But let's find out. It kind of looks like a pumpkin. So how much does researching a pumpkin get me? 720 for 13 minutes is not amazing, but it's not awful. And I want the well, it's not it's also pumpkin-like, but it's like a jack-o'-lantern. This pumpkin's been cut open already. This one... Well, the time is better, but the amount of research I get is rubbish. And then we'll bring this one over here. Oh, and I had that before and I didn't even use it. What a fail. Then I wanted solar panels. For solar panels, I needed copper and glass. For glass, I need quartz. Quartz, let's go for 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of quartz, and then quartz is making glass, and copper. Copper, I think is wait, yeah. Pretty sure you are copper. Yes, we'll just grab all of the ones we have, and we'll put at least one of them there. Wait, is this thing on? Medium solar, yeah, there we go. Okay. And now we just need our quartz out of here to make glass. Okay, getting there. And so both the awareness of all 3 of these things, as well as the practice of being aware of all three of those things are all incredibly useful things to develop in a person. Beyond that point, we then want to say, right, once we're aware of all three of these things, once we've got the depressed person or the addicted person or the OCD person to a point where they say, great, I'm recognizing all three of these things and I'm starting to see connections between them, then we want to start teaching them how they can affect each of these layers, the emotions, the thoughts, and the behaviors, what kind of power they have over each of those things, and what they can do about affecting change in each of those systems in a way that's going to be useful for the problem thoughts or the problem behaviors or the problem emotions. In effect, in a way that's going to be healthy for them, basically. I should be able to pick up both of these other ones. Except I want to do that, and then that, and then that, and then that. We're multitasking. Look at us go. I think that's going to finish before the smelter. I think. Oh, just. Good timing there. Alright, then we'll go back to Kalimdor and we'll deposit 1 million solar panels for the air condenser. Is that what it's called? I think that's what it's called. I think I've got one more in here. Yes. Medium solar, please. And we'll run over to our ship in the meantime and load this up. Actually, I've never seen that little icon, little panel with a sun behind it. That's very cute. The wind turbine and the battery I've seen plenty of. I want that one over here, and I think I'm just going to go run back to that planet just to get the sulfur going in the meantime. Actually, wait. I want some compound for tethers just so I can explore a little bit while I'm there. This one and this one, and we'll make some of them into tethers so long. Okay, and then get in here and launch. Okay, off we go. And so at that point, then we want to start talking about how they can affect each of these things. Now, what a lot of therapy processes have kind of intrinsically realized, although not often stated as an explicit idea, is that it's this one I'm going to here. Sulfur, very sunny, low wind. Yep, that's what we wanted. It's amazing how quickly I forgot that Kalimdor name. But so what a lot of therapy processes have intrinsically come to understand is that people have a lot more control over, number one, their behavior. And then, why can't I see the bubble to click on? I'm going to have to rotate all the way around just to be able to click on it. Number one, they have a lot of control over their behavior. Number two, they have a good chunk of control over their thoughts. And number three, they don't have a lot of direct control over their emotions. And so what a lot of therapy processes tend to focus on is, number one, saying, right, how can we change a person's behavior? Because for many people, that's the first element that they have the most control over and potentially allows them the most agency in addressing whatever problem they're trying to deal with. And so it's in the sort of 60s and 70s, behavioral therapy was an absolutely huge thing. Now, if you guys ever talk to for those of you that don't know him, there's a streamer called Dr. Mick Live, who more or less inspired me to do this sort of stream. I do a couple things slightly differently, but I do model after a lot of what he does because I really admire his stream. But he's, as far as I can see, he's quite the fan of behaviorism, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's a fantastic school of thought. There's a lot of good things that have come out of it. It's a lot of effective work that's done in there. And essentially, their take is to say, let's work on people's behavior, because that will affect change across the board. It'll change the way people think. It will change the way people feel. And it affects people's, well, and obviously, for behavioral problems, it's an ideal thing as well. I think what that school of thought has never sort of explicitly stated is the idea that we have these levels of control, that we have far more control over our behavior than our thoughts or emotions, at least direct control. And the fact that we have that control there is a strength for that school of thought, because they're saying, look, you got lots of power here, why not use it? I want this one, and we're going to go plop this down here, somewhere on there maybe. Okay, let's... If that thing's not working, I can probably just move that out of there and bring it up here somewhere. In the meantime, it'll charge that battery, but very soon. And number 4. We're going to tell this thing we want sulfur. Please go. And now that battery is going to get eaten up. Wait, is it? I assume it is. Surely. Oh my god, do you think? Ah, that's perfect. They charge the battery faster than what this thing eats the battery. Obviously then at night this is going to be an issue. But I think we've got a second battery up here. So this is actually a good planet for it then, that we can grab a couple batteries. Those were all wind turbines. Okay, we've got one more battery. So we'll take the second battery over as well, because then during the day this thing will charge up. Except where am I putting? I need another platform to put the next battery on. Can I just put it on top of this? No, I can't. I really wish I could put that somewhere. Did I bring it? Let me just check if maybe I brought another platform. I think it'd be worth it if I do have another platform. It'd likely be worth using. I don't see one. No. No sir, no sir. 3 bags full. No idea what line that's from. Dr. Mick, never heard of him. Yes, Nero, I mean, what an obscure name. Who's this Dr. Mick guy? I just figure there may be the odd person that comes on the stream that doesn't know of him, and so for them, quite happy to give him a shout out. Naturally, I think I may have guessed that you and Iguana and a couple others may happen to just possibly perhaps know who Dr. Mick is. Sulfur! Give me delicious sulfur. Okay, now while I'm here, what am I going to grab? What's over there actually? It's too far away at the moment. Oh, I don't want to jump down a cliff. Let's go the long way around. No. There we go. No, come on. Okay. Oh, it's just grass. Really? What a pain in the neck. Ooh. Oh, you're just another one. Okay. Oh, I can't believe I came all this way just for grass. Research item. Okay, I came all this way for a research item. I accept. Let's go over here and over there. Nira, I will. Oh, no, come back. No, I dropped it twice. I'm so clever. Nira, I'm going to check what you're saying in just a second. Let me put this down. Okay, Nira, what did you say? I still think it's good to give shoutouts even if they're well known by the current viewers. Absolutely. Actually, what I do need to do is set up that command system to have like automated shoutouts to people, because I don't have that at the moment. And yeah, I think it would be a useful thing to add to this. What's the research sample? Oh, it's a little one. Yeah, there we go. Any more? No. Earlier on I thought I'd found like some really cool rare resource like right here on the surface, and I was all like, yes, this is great, I finally found something cool without really having to hunt. And then alas, I was wrong. But that looks like a research item. There we go. At least I'm finding a bunch of these up here. Although I wouldn't mind some. I think this is the copper planet. I mean, judging by how red it is, it would make sense that it's the copper planet. But I might need to go double check that in just a moment. You can stay there. I don't want resin, and there seems to be a lot of that. I mean, I do want resin, I just don't want it enough to bother mining it right now. But then there's ammonium mixed in between. They're going to force me to dig up the resin just so I can find the little tiny bits of ammonium in between. Sus. That's nasty of them. There we go. Okay, we got one. So that's... in fact, I think we're going to get a few more. Okay, one more and then we'll run out of power. But hey, it's one more. Let's drop this off. And we use organic... No! God, really? Okay, let's put that away. If I put this down here, is it going to fall over? No, it doesn't. Ha! Well done, me. But yeah, we use the organic now for making carbon, so it's actually a useful thing to take. Let's just offload all the stuff. Put that there. Can put this one here, I suppose. Yeah. And then let's go back and pick that up. Where was I just digging? I'm assuming there by the hole in the ground. Maybe? Or was I digging there? Oh no, that was a plant I was digging up earlier. That's not where I was digging. Come here. Yeah. Okay, I think I was actually digging here because there's resin and ammonium in here, I think. Which, if I can find more ammonium, that's great. Yeah, I see more over there actually. Ugh, go away. Give me power. I need daytime is what I need. One day, back to topic, I promise. I make a lot of promises. Oh, hello. Right in front of me. And in front of me again. Yay! Yay! Look at that delicious ammonium. There's a bit of music in the background that keeps this drum beat going that's like slightly ominous. Like I keep hearing it and I feel like it's those moments in Jaws where something's creeping towards you and they're playing the music to let you know, hey listen, you're about to get eaten. What is that actually? Oh, it's ammonium. Okay, cool. Yeah, no power. I know that, thank you. Okay, we're finding that. It's interesting, the ammonium's like green at night. Hadn't actually paid attention to that before, but okay. I accept. Who would have thought hunting ammonium in the dark in some ways makes it easier to find? Okay, let's go drop off what we have. Alright, so I mentioned, behaviorism is all about the behaviors. At one point, after behaviorism, there was a school of thought, unsurprisingly, called cognitive therapy, where they basically realized, hey, all these people have been spending so much time focusing on behavior, but actually that's ignoring the fact that we do have power over our thought processes as well. And now, what we've discovered over time with that is, in essence, in a sort of simplified way, there are types of control over our thoughts that we do have and types that we don't have. More specifically, we have the power to focus our attention on topics of interest to us. We don't necessarily have the power to stop certain thoughts from occurring. And now it's almost a counterintuitive thing that there's often a kind of a command that people like to give themselves or other people to say, just don't think about something. Wait, am I not getting oxygen now? Jeez, did I disconnect this whole thing from oxygen? Oh my god, nearly suffocated myself. The battery's charging. And this thing is plugging away. Oh, I really wish I could load another battery on there. Okay, we're going to grab whatever comes off in this cycle, I think, and then... What does... I have no idea what research that's supposed to be. And I'm very curious what those plants do. That said, though, I'm not going to be stupid enough to actually walk up next to them. I'm going to dig them up. But I am very curious. It's maybe just a tree. Yeah, actually, it's maybe just a tree. Huh. Yeah, okay, it's just a tree. It's just a menacing looking tree, basically. Come back to the oxygen, please. Ooh, hello, hole in the ground. The green grass did not grow all around, because this is a desert planet. There we go. And so there's the... cognitive therapy was all about focus on the thoughts. And then they decided, well, it makes perfect sense to combine cognitive therapy and behavioral therapy, and they made, what a surprise, cognitive behavioral therapy. Which I'm sure the behaviorists were bummed that their name came second, but never mind. Admittedly, I can say, even though I practice cognitive behavioral therapy, I do tend to work a little more with the cognitive element of it, more because of the sort of person I am. And I'm very well aware that there are clients that are more amenable to the behavioral component of it, and then I'd use that. But when I realize that there's room for both of them to be used, I'd probably default to doing the cognitive stuff first, because it's what I'm more comfortable with. But always keeping in mind, if it would be better for the client to use the behavioral stuff more, then obviously I'm going to use more of that. Then what we've actually had quite a lot of in recent years, and it's not quite as simplistic as this, but so for example, one of the big names out there at the moment is a type of therapy called emotion-focused therapy. And as its name suggests, they sort of say, okay, well, we spent all this time focusing on behavior. Can I... Ooh, those are delicious. Wow. They're out to kill me. Huh. But there's a bunch of research there, so that's cool. They basically said, wow, there's all this research that's focused on thoughts and behaviors. How about we spend some time focusing on emotions too? And it's not nearly as simplistic as that, but in essence, there's kind of been this trend in psychology that each of those three have had their spot to be focused on. And what a lot of therapists have kind of... I don't doubt that there are people that have written about this as well, but it's maybe just not as widespread. But what a lot of people have begun to realize is that actually there's a lot of room for combining the three of them. I want that, please. I'm wondering... can be planted or researched, but I've got a whole bunch of them already. Let's just take them back and decide after that. Plus I should have more gases waiting for me as well. And we're going to not fall down a hole this time. Ooh, I see. That's actually kind of cool. This piece is like a giant outcropping of rock almost. This part gives me some nice perspective, so we're just going to stand here and load everything up. There, and crazy plant seeds that I probably don't actually want to plant, but I have them, so I need to take them because reasons, because science. And let's go pick up some more sulfur. Ah, look at how full that battery is. Okay, and how? Okay, well actually we're going to take that too because we don't have space for it on here. We should get one more, and then I think we can leave after that, and then we'll leave this machine to fill up another tray for us before the next time we arrive here. And I'll have a yawn in the meantime, and have a look at the time, and see if there's chat, and do those things. Goodness. Jeez, time is running away from me. Okay, let's go pop this in here. I wanted to check what metal is on this planet. But let's just load these on first. This one, and this one, and this one, And then I put a beacon. Yeah, I've got a beacon up. I think I want to go dig underground just to see what I find. Or at least go underground, if not dig. Nope. No, come on. Thought I pressed it fast enough. We're getting somewhere. Whether it's anywhere useful or not, who knows? Actually, let me go look as well. Let me go see what's available on this planet. We came to this one. Malachite. Okay, so it's got copper down here somewhere. Copper would not be a bad thing to collect. Oh god, there's a giant hole in the floor there. Thanks, game. Way to try to sabotage me. And I've run out of thingies. Okay, that's laterite, I think. No? Oh, that's copper. That would actually be really handy to collect now if I can collect some of it from up here. Don't get too close. Nope. Oh god. I need to get a little tiny bit closer. But first, I need to get myself a way back up, and I need to cover up these holes, because that is an accident waiting to happen. Okay, let's go along here. I didn't bring more compound with me. Did we see any compound on the surface? There often is, but of course, I guess this will be the one planet that doesn't just have compound lying around. There's lots of resin. No, I don't actually remember any compound lying around. Okay, that's fine. We can go off planet for now, because we collected something. What did we... Oh, we collected sulfur. Oh, I could collect more by now, I'm sure. Greedy. Have to always have more. Let's see what we can pick up from here. 2 of them, that's fine. 1 and 2, and we'll jump in. And we have liftoff, yeah? There we go. Oh, actually, I've just realized it's probably that time where our friend Mr. Guy that nobody knows, yeah, Dr. Mick, comes online. Which is perfect. I've been on here for a little while, so shall we conduct a raid over there, even if some of you guys might be tuned in there already. I'd quite like to tune in though, and so I need to shut up here so that I can go give him hell there. So let's go land on Earth, or Silver, and... Oh, come here. No, come here, I see you. I hope I clicked on the right one. I think I did. Yeah, it looks like I did. Okay, we're going to go land there, and then we'll go raid Dr. Mick. For those of you that haven't been there before, please come give him a try. I think you'll quite enjoy his stream. And if you don't, I mean, you're always free to leave as well. And then I should be on. I'll be having a bit of a long day tomorrow, but I'm still planning to be on tomorrow night. I'm going to do my little wave goodbye here. Come here, Astroneer dude. Bye. And hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow night. If you're not on the Discord already, please feel free to give that a click. Actually, let's go put that in chat. No, if I could spell, that would help. Yeah, please come join in the Discord. If nothing else, just to get the announcements of when we're coming online, but also you're welcome to come chat there if you'd like. But otherwise, we're off to raid Dr. Mick live, and I hope I see you guys there. Have a good night, guys. And I say that, and I have to stand around and wait while we wait for this thing to do our little countdown. I'm curious. I'm guessing you guys have to actually click, like, no. Do you click a button to say that you're coming along, or does it just take you by default? I'm not actually sure. But anyway, let me pull up his stream on my phone so that I hear him by the time we get there. My phone likes, they like to give me Amazon ads. Yeah, there we go. There's an Amazon ad. So I'm going to wait for the Amazon ad to finish before I raid there. Well, it's a bit confusing. I'm logging in there and then raiding there with the same account, but oh well. Have a good night, guys. Thanks, Nero. See you guys at Dr. Mix. Let's go.
And then look at some of them after, just to look at the progression of the stream. It's sort of self-indulgent for me, but some of you might be interested. Those of you who are thinking about streaming might find it interesting because you can see how bad I was at it when I first started. And I made a lot of mistakes.